What is up, everyone? Welcome to Zaio. Thank you so much if you're tuning in live right now. I'm super excited to be talking to you guys about data science today. We are launching a new data science, and with me, I actually have Asif, who's our CTO at Zaio. How are you doing, Asif? How are you feeling about the webinar today?
I'm actually very excited. Hey everyone, it's been long since I've done a webinar, so I'm really excited. A really cool topic, one of my favorite topics. So yeah, let's just get into it, man.
Yeah. I think so for everyone who's tuning in right now, I'm Akil Bodu. I'm COO at Zaio. And we have been working on Zaio for about 6 years now, and we have gone through various iterations, lots of research, conducted studies with companies to create multiple training programs, and we were fully focused on full stack development for the longest of time. And we have now come to a point where we are launching a new stream. And you know how it is with Zayo, guys. We do our research. We make sure that we're thorough in our planning and making sure that we are delivering something that is world class, right? So Asif, I think maybe let's just talk our users through what exactly data science is, right? So what exactly is data science, and why is it that we spent the past few months doing thorough research to launch data science? Why data science? And what is data science? Asif, are you there? I think we might be experiencing a little bit of a network issue here. Um, But I mean, while we wait for Asif, perhaps I can give you guys like an overview of what exactly data science is, right? And why did we actually choose to launch data science, right? Data science is basically like a field that essentially focuses on extracting insights, right? Making sense of data, right? Because there's a lot of data that's getting collected these days, structured data and unstructured data. And you know how they say data is the new gold, right? That's why this field was actually born, right? It's a disciplinary which requires us to extract data from various different sources, clean up the data, make sense of it, right? And finally come up with some kind of insights that will help us in making decisions, right? So long story short, data science is basically the science of analyzing data for a practical scenario such that companies can maybe make better decisions, right? It's used in various fields. It's used in healthcare for example, in healthcare, it's used to predict what kind of symptoms are there for particular diseases, right? It's used in business intelligence, right? To make better decisions. Why are sales not coming in, right? We do quite a bit of analytics, to some level. We are doing data science at Zayo as well, where we are trying to understand trends, trying to see why is it that users are attracted towards a particular course, why is it that they go away, what are the things that we can do to understand our users better, right? And that's where data science is an art almost, where we are able to understand what is happening with users in their behavior, like what exactly is happening in their psychology. And data is what gives us that information. In fact, I would even go to the extent to say that I'd much like, if I ask one of our users at Zayo, like, how's your experience going, and are you actually enjoying your experience, right? um, I would prefer to actually see their actions and their behavior as opposed to hear what they have to say. I will make a decision not based on what they're saying to me, but rather based on what exactly we have analyzed and understood about that particular user, right? So that is what data science is about. It's essentially about making sense of data so that we can make better decisions, right? And it's used across the industry. I mean, like, maybe Asif, walk us through what do you think about data science, and why is it that data science is the one? Like, we've invested a lot of energy. Why do you think data science is the path to success for a lot of learners?
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So we've been like talking about data science, in Zaio for almost like 2 years, and but for us, we wanted to do our research. We wanted to find the actual correct path that we know. Because remember, Zaio is about getting job-ready skills, right? So if you'd go to university, you'd have a whole theoretical section that you learn about data before you even get to the actual practical stuff, right? You're going to learn a lot of mathematics, a lot of statistics. So that's why guys who actually do well in maths end up in that career. So I know some people do a major in stats and a major in math and then do a master's in data science, right? So
Yeah.
that's one path you can take. But as you guys know, Zayo is about getting your job ready. So for us, it took a long time for us to figure out what is the skills that are actually going to make you job ready. What are the skills that will help you extract the data to help companies? Because that's how you can add value, right? So
Yeah.
we saw in doing that research, we just figured out that there's so much demand for this skill, and companies are paying so much money for data scientists. Even junior data scientists are like easily getting jobs, right? And that's where we saw that, what, this is actually the time where we need to launch this course. We've seen
Yeah.
what companies want, and yeah, like, and we're actually launching our first boot camp. So, and we'll talk about the curriculum as well. The curriculum is very much aligned to you actually getting practical skills, but we'll get to there when the time comes.
Yeah, I think just if I had to draw an analogy, so just for context, guys, we have been doing full stack development for the longest time in Zayo, and we have run multiple boot camps. We've seen a lot of success with full stack developers. Right, there's a huge demand for full stack developers as well, but that is more around like the look and feel of applications, right? I think with data science, if I had to draw an analogy with full stack, if you learn full stack development, it opens you up to three career paths, right? You can become a full stack developer, so you'll get access to full stack developer jobs. You'll get access to front end developer jobs. You'll also get access to back end developer jobs, right? And obviously, once you start your career, eventually down the line, you will find yourself maybe moving into cloud, right, or diversifying into a different field, right? I feel like that's the natural trajectory, right? I think with data science, once you learn data science, you open yourself up to so many different job roles, right? We're talking about a data scientist, somebody who is essentially just like it's the overall pie, right? And within that, there's multiple subsets. Like within data science, you'll also learn machine learning, right? So not only like can you apply for data science roles, you can also apply for machine learning engineer roles. You can apply for data analyst roles, right? You can apply for becoming an AI researcher. You can apply as a business intelligence analyst, right? So there's a lot of different fields that open up. So once you learn data science, the the number of job opportunities that you can actually apply to are very significant. You can apply to lots of job opportunities, which is why I think there's such a huge demand, and there's such a huge shortage of skills. Right, at any given time, there's 200,000 jobs that are unfilled in South Africa. Right, we have a whole bunch of youth who are really struggling to gain the right skills, and on the other hand, we have companies who require data analysts. In this age where AI has become this thing that is part of our daily lives, it's become extremely important to make more sense of data, gather data in a more structured manner, and there is a bigger need to actually learn data science right now. So maybe Asif, walk me through like what exactly the curriculum is going to be, right, for this data science bootcamp, and paint us a picture of what to actually expect.
All right, cool. So let's start off with the curriculum, right? The first thing you're going to learn in the data science course is Python, right? Remember, at the end of the day, it's still like one of the branches of coding, right? Data science is one branch of coding, which means that you have to learn a programming language, and the most common ones that we saw during our research was Python, which was number one. Then we had R as well. A lot of people work with R. I think those were the two most common ones, right? So we decided to go with Python because, again, the students that come on Zayo are usually beginners. They have never coded before, so that's why we prefer to go with Python. Because when Akhil and I actually went to UCT, the first programming language we ever learned was Python, and We figured out that the reason they choose that is because it's the most easiest thing to get hang of, right? You can easily pick up Python very quickly because of it's literally like English. So we said, okay, you know what? Let's stick with Python, right? And then as we went down our research, we figured out that a lot of libraries, data science libraries, machine learning libraries are built on Python, and they all utilize Python. So we're like, that's the perfect choice. Let's move with Python. So we do Python first. After Python, we learn some object-oriented programming with Python, right? That's again just to give you some more programming fundamentals. And then after that, we dive into the actual data science stuff, right? So first, what we do is we learn about data analysis, right? And that's where we learn things like pandas, NumPy, matplotlib, and seaborn, right? So pandas and NumPy is used for data pre-processing. That itself, it's its own job. That's somebody who's going to clean data and make data like clean enough for to make visualizations or to use that data, right? If there's any
Just
missing pieces,
that's its own job. You can get a
yeah,
salary for being a data
yeah,
analyst. That's
right.
that's what we mean, right? There's so much opportunity.
Yeah, so what I was talking about is actually data pre-processing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's cleaning up the data. Like there's a set of people that sit down and clean data. That's all they do using Python, right? And then after that, the second step is where we do analysis and visualizations. And what we teach you Matplotlib and Seaborn, right? So printing pie charts and graphs and various ways to visualize the data. We teach you that with Matplotlib and Seaborn. That's like almost half of the curriculum done. Okay. Then comes the most interesting part, right? Where we learn a bit of mathematics. So uh, it's basically the math you've done in high school. So if you haven't done that in high school, that's perfectly fine as well because we teach that to you. So the two things that you need to learn in mathematics is basically linear algebra and statistics. And it's not very hectic stats. It's just stuff like mean, median, average, lower quartile, upper quartile. If you might have heard these things in high school. So that's what we cover. And after we cover that, we move on to machine learning, right? Which is machine learning. We learn about different machine learning models like KNN. We learn about unsupervised and supervised learning. There's various machine learning algorithms that we pick up when we come to that area. But again, we don't go in very much depth, but just to give you an idea of how you can actually, train machine learning models, make predictions based on the data that you have. Okay, and throughout the entire course, we're actually doing very practical. We're using a very practical approach. So, for example, you're going to be analyzing stock markets to predict whether the stock market is going to go higher or low. Don't use that as financial advice, though. But it's just like a simple project. I think there's another project to detect like credit card fraud. So there's quite a few interesting projects that we cover in the course as well. And these are things that can actually be used in banking sectors and investment firms and things like that. So you'll have an idea of how a data analyst or data scientist or machine learning engineer works in those various scenarios or companies. Yeah, that's basically a short summary of the curriculum.
Now, I think the content itself, the material itself, we're super excited to bring that to you guys. Coupled with our learning environment, I think it's going to be super, super productive. I think something that we pride ourselves in a lot at Zaio, which is I think one of the things that differentiates us. Right, we've seen students join us after doing other boot camps, and we're just like, why are you joining another boot camp after doing another boot camp? And these are some of the key things that you need to be aware of that differentiates us and that makes your chances of succeeding a lot more higher, right? And we're talking about the ability to actually build real world projects, right? Like Asif mentioned, like building stock market analysis, creating some kind of prediction algorithm that's going to predict how stock moves, right? A particular stock moves. So there's a lot of interesting real world projects that you're actually going to work on, and these are the kind of things that contribute to your portfolio, right? And it's also a lot of fun. Like when you're like, if we just look at data cleaning, data pre-processing, for example, just the act of doing data pre-processing is extremely boring. Like it can be very boring to just clean data. But if you know what you're doing it for, if you're doing it to actually figure out how the market is going to move, right? What the stock market is going to look like, I think that coupling that learning experience, data pre-processing, with a real project is what makes it a lot more exciting for you. right? So you're going to actually enjoy that process of building something real, and that's going to help you showcase it to your employers in future, right? Forget employers, you can even showcase it to your friends, you can post it on your socials, and you can show that what you're learning is real, right? It's not something that's just theoretical and you're not going to use it, right? I mean, that's why it's called real world projects. Okay. I think something else that I think that has worked like a charm in previous bootcamps, and Asif, maybe you can take this one. It's basically our interview readiness sessions. Uh, why has this been so instrumental to seeing the success of our learners? And maybe give us an example of how that works.
All right, cool. Okay, interview readiness session. This thing came up when we actually launched our first full stack bootcamp, right? So we had a self-paced course, and we saw when students were going for interviews, there was a lot of they were seeing things they were not expecting, and they knew how to code. They were good developers, but they struggled to crack the interview. And I think a lot of boot camps are missing this aspect, right? Uh, where you need to teach your students how to crack the interviews, because a technical interview is very different from a normal interview. So if you're going for an interview for any other job, it's like just two individuals having a conversation. But when you're doing a technical interview, you're actually going to explain certain problems and certain problem solving techniques you're going to use to solve problems, and also write some code, right? So that was it was very like overwhelming for students, and that's where we decided we need to have this. So what we started doing is, whether it's a data science bootcamp or whether it's a bootcamp for full stack, you will find this interview readiness sessions both in both the bootcamps. So what would happen is we will first train you on. So what will happen is you'll have a session every it's bi-weekly, right? Every second Friday, where you come in. There's going to be a tutor, and it's going to be a different tutor every time, right? So you get comfortable of like introducing yourself and just answering questions. So the first section usually is like just normal interview questions. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want to join our company, and etc., and things like that. And then I think the second section is where we actually ask you technical questions, things like so give you a Python problem to solve, and we teach you how to step by step, like answer those questions in interviews. And that has helped a lot. I actually was in an interview last week by of one of our students who was in a Jam bootcamp, and I can just see the difference it brought into the way he was answering these questions. It was just so smooth.
No, I think yeah, I remember how this idea came about. It was really, it was like that thing that we wish we also had back in the day,
Yeah.
because it helps you become, being a developer is not only about knowing how to code, right? I think this is something that a lot of people miss. Being a developer is also about being part of a team. Like you have to know how to collaborate, you have to know how to work in a team, you have to know how to communicate, which is driving me to my next point, which is soft skills, right? I think soft skills is extremely, extremely important. In fact, today I was having a conversation earlier today, and it was around, would you rather hire, maybe this is a question for you, Asif, would you rather hire someone, right, who is an incredible developer, like super, super talented developer, right, but a really bad communicator, somebody who's just like difficult to work with, but extremely talented, right? Or would you rather work with someone who's not as talented but extremely proactive, good with communication, somebody who's like easy to talk to, easy to work with? Who would you rather work with?
It's crazy that you bring up this thing, because we've gone through it in Zaio, right? Like we've actually made bad hires when we thought they were good hires.
Yeah.
So, and that was purely based out of how they're working in a team. So I would definitely go for somebody who has less skills but can communicate. He's telling me what he's up to, what he's building, and when we're in a whiteboard session discussing a feature, he's able to articulate what he's trying to build and the ideas he has or she has. It's something I would appreciate more than somebody who's a great developer, because then I feel like developers like that get very selfish. They build their part of the system and they just leave it, and they wait for you to follow up. They wait for you to like check in what they're doing. um, Sometimes they even ask you to debug their work. It's very frustrating. So I would prefer somebody who is less experienced and less skilled, but I know this person is a really great team player. He's
Mm.
helping other developers in the team. So that would be my preference.
Yeah, and I mean, like, skills is something that you gain, right, with
Yeah.
experience, and that is something that can eventually come with time, right? But the attitude that you have, soft skills that you develop, that is something that takes a lot of time. It requires a lot of behavioral changes, right? Which is why you'll see it's almost a very transformative process to actually be part of, a boot camp, right? I think moving on to some of the frequently asked questions that we get often, right? When it comes to our boot camps, right? Maybe walk us through like the course format. Like, what is the duration of the course? What's the schedule? Is it online, offline?
All right, cool. So the course is 6 months, all right. But we have seen that sometimes it does go to like 7 months, but majority of the time it does continue 6 months. Uh, so within 6 months, you should be like well enough to actually tackle the interview, all right. And then it was duration, and what else? It's obviously an online course, right? At Zaio, all of our courses are online. Um, and as for some of you who have done our full stack boot camp, right? If you're looking to join data science now, you might, it's the exact same system. You come, you attend your class, you take some work home, you're getting marked by tutors, and then on the platform, you have some assignments that come in that are automatically marked to give you instant feedback. That's the entire format of how the boot camp is going to work.
Yeah, I know that there's a couple of live classes that also happen. So, what does the schedule look like for that?
So I think for this boot camp, it's been scheduled for every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the Tuesday classes, and then we also have some classes at night because I know some individuals who join our boot camp are working. So what they do is they join classes at night, and those are from 6 to 8 p.m. every Thursdays, right? And
Yeah.
all classes are recorded. So when they want to access it, they can go onto their system and then just or rewatch the class. And then obviously the tutors are always available. Um, so let's say you missed the morning class and now you're covering up at night. So the tutors are going to be available to help you if you have any questions during the nighttime as well. So we have made this option. We've catered for students who are actually working because they come back from work and then they start coding.
Mhm.
So we try and keep the tutors available at nighttime as well for them to be assisted.
Yeah, I think just on the tutors, I think this is something that is also one of the reasons why you choose a Zayo bootcamp, right? As much as AI is extremely powerful and helpful, which, by the way, we have an AI-powered learning environment as well, where, like, every time you save the code, we have an AI chatbot, like a coding assistant, that's going to respond to your code, and then also you can directly type questions and ask any questions you might have, right? As much as the whole AI aspect is very important, how important is the human touch, like to learning how to code? It's extremely important, right? Like, maybe walk us through how does Zayo, like, give that human touch and the whole one-on-one tutoring. Walk us through, paint us a picture with how the human touch comes in.
Yeah, so I think we know we figured this out when we saw that in the self-paced course we had, like, we saw this demand coming in from students for support, and that's when we said that in the boot camps we're going to have that. So the first thing we did is we launched a Discord community, right? On the Discord community we have all of our tutors. There are over like 20 tutors on Discord that will always be there to help you. So there won't be a moment where you ask a question on Discord and you will not be assisted, right? Someone will definitely assist you on Discord. Um, and then for the bootcamp students, what we usually have is support hours, right? And support hours are basically where you can, after your classes, on a specific time, you can go book a tutor and get assistance from that tutor one on one. How can have a conversation, an actual conversation on the video call. You can share your code with the tutor. The tutor will assist you with your problems, exactly like how you would do in a proper tutoring class. So we've tried to get involved as much as we can with the students with our boot camps.
Yeah, I think also just on that, the Discord community, man, like, that's been like one of the coolest things that we've done at Zayo, right?
Yeah,
It's such a
We
great
actually
way to
crossed a thousand. We actually crossed 1,000 users on Discord just to
yeah.
yesterday, so which is quite cool as well. And
No,
it grew
that's
so
that's
yeah.
it grew so quickly, right? I think we've always, like, been very active in the community, like in a physical aspect, right? Like, for example, at our UCT days, we were consistently running events on campus. We've done many events across many different campuses. We were in charge of the Intel Student Ambassador Program, the Google DSC clubs. So I think that as much as there's like the physical interaction, it's very cool to see how, like, the whole community has come together. I think it's such a great way for students to actually interact with one another. I think basically how it works, guys, is anytime, like, if you have a question, right, you can either book a tutor, right? So there's like a ticketing system that connects you with the tutor, all right? Uh, or you can directly ask a question, because there's every bootcamp basically has its own private channel, right? And on the private channel, you can basically post questions, and you'll get assisted by either other members or tutors, right? Tutors are very active on Discord. We've seen some good feedback. Like, we've been doing some feedback recently, trying to understand our users better. And some of the feedback I've seen was very positive around the tutors, right? We are looking to improve it in more aspects, right? But I think we've actually seen that students on Discord, like, there's this one case where I think it was a student from the Jan bootcamp or March bootcamp, where they actually were helping other students so much on the Discord channel, that they became really good friends, and now they want to start a business together, right? I wonder where they are at with that. Actually, I'd love to find out. But my point being, guys, like, it's an incredible community to be part of, right? Like, it's one thing to learn on your own and get far on your own, but it's another thing to learn with like-minded people who are trying to grow with you. And it's a very friendly community. Like, anytime there's questions, you can get help. And I think it's a really nice place to be. I'm really excited to see how it's going, where it's going. I think it's definitely going to be a very productive space. So it's something that I'm really, really keen to see how it grows further, the Discord community, right? I think, Asif, you also recently added a feature, right, where I'm not sure, Asif, is it frozen right now? Are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But basically, I think there's a feature that you added around, like, levels, like, basically growing, uh, like an XP kind of thing on Discord. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost Asif there. But essentially, Asif has recently, like, I think it's going through some beta tests right now. But we're trying to find a way to reward students that are actually being very active on Discord, right? So there's different levels. There's a leaderboard that's being worked on right now. And yeah, I think Asif is actually here. Maybe you can give us a rundown of, like, what is that leaderboard thing that we went through today, like, with students, like engagement, basically tracking engagement on Discord, and how is that helpful for the bootcamp?
Do you know, I was actually planning to keep that as a surprise, and you just like messed it up.
Surprise! I surprised you, man.
No, I think I would rather launch this on Discord community, right?
Yeah.
But it's basically a way to reward using XP for people who are being very much more active on the Discord channel. But that's what I'm going to say. I don't want to say much because I want to launch it nicely.
Okay. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that we're very much agile team, guys. Like, we really listen to your feedback, and we try our best to make sure that the learning experience is we know that it's very productive. Like, the content is powerful. It's a very powerful experience, but we want it to be fun for you guys. So that's something that we really look forward to. um I just want to see, are there any questions that we have over here in the chat right now? Just checking in on who all are around here.
As a freshie, can I do this as DevOps? Okay, cool. Let's see. We have questions. As a freshie, can I enter in data science and DevOps? Do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, look, as a freshie, I think it really depends what you define a freshie as. Let's assume that A freshie is someone who has no coding experience, right? Look, definitely the way we have designed our program at Zaio is you can enter data science, right? Like Asif mentioned, we have a whole mathematics module where we actually go through some critical concepts, mathematical concepts. So yes, you can enter data science, right? I would say for DevOps, it makes more sense to actually learn basics of programming first before actually jumping into DevOps, right? DevOps is something that comes into play once you have systems to manage, right? It's like system orchestration. Where do you host your data? How do you protect the data? Like, what kind of cloud service do you want to use to manage like different versions of your app? So I think DevOps is something that should come later, right? I think initially either go for data science or full stack, right? Both of them are extremely interesting fields. Both of them have incredible opportunities. I think you just got to follow your interest, right? Are you somebody who's interested in data, coming up with really cool insights, working on prediction algorithms, or are you someone interested in building like systems, like front end systems, back end systems? I think there's a ton of opportunity either way. So yes, get started ASAP with full stack or data science. So this is, would you recommend this course for people who are trying to go into data engineering, right? Asif, you want to take that one?
Hello.
Yeah, are you there?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, definitely, because I feel like the area of I think just the aspect of learning Python first is going to like escalate you into data engineering field, and then I think data engineers use a lot of pandas and NumPy with Matplotlib, so I think that area will be much more. If you want to go into that field, that's where you'd focus on the most. So yes, it definitely would recommend because you do pick up the skills of data engineer in this course, and you can also work as like hello.
Yeah, go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so you can pick up the skills of data engineer, and basically if you cover 50% of the course, I think you should be at a good position to actually work as a data engineer. But I recommend completing it because the whole ML part I think is quite important for you to cover as well, because again you're doing the work for ML, you're cleaning data, you're getting the data ready for ML engineers at the end of the day. So uh, just in short, to answer your question, is yes.
Yeah, no, that's super, super exciting. How much is the boot camp and how much time is required to effectively do it? I like how, Kwanele, you mentioned the word effective. I think that's a very good one there. So the boot camp basically costs 29,500 rands, right? We have three payment plans. You can either pay upfront 29,500, or you can pay 15K first month, 15K second month, a 2 month installment plan, or you can go with Manati, right? We have a financing option, right? We are partnered with Manati, who is our financer, like a student financing program, and basically they facilitate student loans, right? So you can start off by paying about 1,000 rand a month. I think 500 to 1,000 rands a month, depending on what your risk is and all of that. They will do their own analysis, right? But don't stress about that. That's something that we'll handhold you through the process as well. So you just simply need to go on our website and apply for data science, complete the general application, and we are going to assist you. We also have Abby in the chat. Shout out, Abby. Abby is basically our student administrator, right? And she's an absolute legend with basically guiding our learners, right? And how much time is required to effectively do it, right? So basically, it's going to take you about 6 months to complete this on average, right? Like Asif mentioned, there is an element of adaptability. Like, we've had students who have found it a bit overwhelming, so we actually have like a deferred program where they spend a few extra months just to make sure they grasp the concepts, right? Because we have people who are not doing this full time. People are doing this while working jobs, so it's natural to actually miss some deadlines, and it might end up taking a bit longer, but we're here to handhold you through that process, right? As long as you're completing the tasks. So to effectively do it, you want to spend at least 2 to 4 hours a day, right? And then obviously when the weekend comes, try to like double down maybe on Saturday, try to spend a few more hours, maybe 6 hours in the weekend total cumulatively. Otherwise, life happens, we know. Try to spend at least 2 hours a day, right? And you should be in a very, very good position at the end of 6 months, right? So that's how you will make sure that it's effective. I think something is, when you get stuck with something, to make sure it's effective, just touching on that word effective, if you're ever stuck with something, that's where we see fall offs happen, right? If you're ever stuck with something, bring it to our attention. Tell us that you're struggling with something, tell us you don't understand something, post it on the Discord, get help, right? Like, you have help available, but you just need to use it, right? And I feel like sometimes you just need to take that initiative to ask for help, and we'll definitely be there to help you guys out. Is
All
there
right.
finance? Asif, you can take that one.
Yeah. So I think yeah, you can just take the question, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create like a quick Google form
Okay.
to just capture details for students who want to prioritize the application, so we can just like call them tomorrow.
Sure. So yeah, there is financing available, guys. We have a financing partner, Manati, right? And they've been incredibly helpful in getting a lot of students across the line. Students that struggle with funding. Manati has really pulled through for these learners, and I think it's a very simple process. It's very simple. You just simply need to go on the Zaio website, apply, complete your general application, pay the admin fee, and then we will then assist you, give you handholding assistance for financing. So yes, there is financing available. Any other questions, guys? If you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat, right? How do you enroll in Zaio, right? So definitely go to our website. I think we can just maybe drop a message in the chat. You have to just go to www.zaio.io, and you will see an option at the top of the page that says sign up, or you can just click on the purple bar that is at the top of the page, and you will be able to create an account and get started, right? And you just need to go through that sign up process, or you can simply complete your general application, and we will guide you through that process. Also, guys, if at any point you have any questions, you can also book a consultation, right? You can book a one-on-one consultation, and we will be able to guide you and assist you hands-on, like with any questions that you might have, and you might feel hesitant to basically ask on a live like this. Any other questions, guys? All right, cool. I think there's no other questions. I know it's definitely a new stream, right? And I'm super excited to see how it goes with this new stream. I think the job opportunities are a lot, and I think it's going to be very exciting to see how students perform in this boot camp, right? Um, if there's any other
Okay.
questions, now is a good time to basically pop them in the chat. You have our full support over here to guide you. Yeah, Asif?
I think I'd seen a question regarding.
Is there any free Zayo course available at the moment, right? So we do have some free courses, right? However, we have started to to discontinue them. I think if you go on the footer of the Zayo page, you might be able to access it. However, we are gradually moving away from that, guys. We want you to get the full experience. What we've seen is um, with with the with the with the free courses, we've not seen enough productivity, right? Like, at the end of the day, we want our learners to get jobs. Like, we're very serious about this, and we want our learners to also be serious. So definitely go on the website and try and complete the general application, and then once you log into the platform, you will be able to access some courses.
Yeah. Also, I've also created a link on Google Form where we collect your email address, your phone number, and your name. If you're interested in the data science course, whether you want to apply for financing or whether you want to pay up front. So what you can do is just, I think, I'll get that shared on the chat, right? Um, I think yeah, we'll say it on the chat, and then what we can do is you guys can apply there. Just put your name down, and we'll get our team to call you and just get like more clarity on what you want to do, and if how you want to pay for the course, any other assistance you need for the course, right? So you will get that in just in a bit on the chat. And so what we'll prioritize your application to make sure that you're sorted for the course.
Yeah, guys, we're getting lots of general applications, right? So it'll be helpful if you, for you guys, if you basically put your details on this sheet, so that basically our consultants can prioritize you guys, right? And since you guys have attended this session over here, we want to give you that importance because you've given us that importance, right? Um, so that there we go. So if you have to just go to bit.ly/Zaio priority link, and that should basically assist you, right?
Akila, I think someone's asked a question on Instagram. Um,
Yeah.
I think the question is, what is salary of a data science, the entry data scientist, right? So from what we have seen, individuals entry level data scientists usually get between 20 to 25K, right? Um, and then as you get more experience, you actually earn more. So this is the coolest thing about tech industry, right? This is the one industry where your salary range grows exponentially, you know. So you're going to enter the industry, um, and when you get your main job is to actually get your main thing is to get your first job, right? Once you get your first job, and you're going to have like 1.5 2 years worth of experience, let's say you're earning 20K a month, like stick to that, right? Don't shift to go to another company as well. Just stick in the company and get the experience. Then what happens, you get to put that in your CV. If you apply on platforms like OfferZen, they don't even ask you for interview questions because now you're considered as somebody with experience, right? um, and that's when now you start getting paid crazy amounts of salaries because companies want experienced developers, companies want experienced data scientists, experienced machine learning engineers. And like I know somebody who gets paid like 80K a month, right, as a developer, and he only has like 3.5 years of experience, right? And obviously with more experience you can ask for way much more, and it will definitely give you, because there's very little senior developers in the country, very little like junior mid-level developers in the country. So like the salary ranges go crazy. Like it's a specific point, let's say within 2 to 3 years, we've got that experience, you will definitely earn a lot.
Yeah, I think just adding on to that, just the convenience of also remote, right? I think that is something that's very very helpful in this tech field, right? Sitting in South Africa, you can do a job for a different country, right? You can be sitting in South Africa working for US company, a US based company, and you can earn in dollars, right? Obviously, the timings might be different, but then in that case, you can work for a European company and earn in euros, right? So I think that is something that you should also consider, right? Because it's remote in nature, you can also access job opportunities not only in South Africa but all over the world. So that increases your chances significantly of actually getting a job, right? So the next question here I can see is, do you have a cybersecurity course? Asif, you want to take that one?
Not yet, but soon. um, Most probably next year. According to our plans, it should be launching next year. But we don't want to launch a course just like that because of the demand. We have seen a lot of demand for cybersecurity, and we've seen a lot of demand for cloud computing as well. But we want to take our time to make sure that we bring you the best. And we know that the skills we're teaching you are actually something that you're going to make use of. So that's why just give it some time. You will see it soon.
Yeah, but definitely just join Zayo so that you don't miss any of the communications. Follow us on our socials, and you should be seeing it coming around next year, early next year. We should be launching data science, cybersecurity, right?
There's someone on
Do we have?
Instagram who is actually a data scientist. Joe, do you want to bring that up? It says, "Thank you for being honest. I'm working as a junior data scientist, and I'm getting about that range." So our research was actually correct. So it's and he is earning that much. Yeah, you see.
Mm. Yeah. So this is a very nice message to see. Yeah, I think, guys, we
Last day
yeah.
of a dying breed. Yeah, dude. Like, don't worry. Your last day is like very far, dude. Like you're gonna make it.
So this is an interesting question from Siba Piwe, right? Is it possible for a civil engineer to consider a tech industry? Civil engineer, huh?
Dude, we
Asif,
have
you want to take that?
accountants that join our courses. Come on, engineers. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think the moment you have some kind of engineering experience, your chances of actually picking something new up is actually a lot higher, right? Because you already have like a strong work ethic. You already have experience learning something like civil engineering. So migrating into the tech industry is actually a very natural process, right? So it is possible. We've had accountants, like Asif mentioned, transition from
Well,
being account.
I'm an electrical engineer, by the way, and I'm a software
Yeah,
developer.
yeah, and he's became a software developer. So I think the opportunities are there. We've also had many students from our boot camps, people that have come from the creative industry, people that have come from like the finance industry, and various backgrounds who actually end up in tech, right? uh, because the opportunity is very high. There's a ton of opportunity in this field, and it's also very exciting, pays well. You can also work remotely, hybrid. I think it's a great career to actually pursue. So once again, just check out the Zaio priority link, right? This should also be on our chats, right? And let us know, guys, if you have any other questions. We are slowly wrapping up this right now. Um, so if there's any questions, we're gonna give it like another minute or two, right? But yeah, Asif, any closing remarks with regards to data science? Like maybe tell me in summary, um, what exactly is it that you would recommend to someone who wants to change their career, and why data science is a nice solution to that?
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing, right? A lot of people, like a lot of AI, like there's this thing of AI taking up jobs, right? But now, when you actually becoming a data scientist, you are the one building the AI, bro. Yeah, but that's how I look at it. Like, a lot of jobs are going to get taken away, but a lot of jobs are going to be created. And I definitely think data scientist is going to be one of them. And I think machine learning engineers, like the whole chat GPT is just a bunch of machine learning engineers, software developers building that, right? And there's this thing that I see that software developers are going to, like, the jobs are going to be taken away as well. I don't see that happening anytime soon, right? And again, on a safer side, if you're the person who's maintaining the machine learning algorithms, and just make sure you're the one who's training it, creating the data for it, then it can't take your job, because like you're doing it, so that's the thing about data science.
Yeah, I think what excites me a lot about data science is just just the it's evergreen, feels evergreen, right? Because once you enter data science, a field like data science, I just think that you're going to get exposed to so many new opportunities. Like you will find yourself in iterating through different kinds of opportunities. It's a very exciting space to be in right now. I think there's a lot of excitement around AI right now, and I think it's only going to increase with time. So um, definitely, like, I'm very excited about data science, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for whoever decides to pursue this path. I think this we also have Akifa in the chat right now, who's saying to book a complimentary appointment with the team. You can feel free to click the link, right? I think she's sharing a link. But if not, you can head over to our Zaio website. Donna is asking, how do I sign up? You can basically go on www.zaio.io, and you can sign up on the website, or you can even book a consultation on the website, right? um, it's been good, guys. I'm really excited to see you guys on the inside, and it's been a good run. If there's any questions, once again, head over to our website, book a consultation, uh, or just click on the Zaio priority link so that our consultants can reach out to you, right? So head over to the priority link and add your details there. And yeah, thank you so much. Cheers, everyone.
All right. Cheers, guys.